Today I will blow your mind with the topic of whether light is a wave or a particle. Let's start with the double-slit experiment. It has a photon emitter, double slit, and a screen that visualizes the pattern. The photon emitted by the emitter passes through both the slits and thus forms a pattern. This pattern tells us that the light is acting as a wave. If you are wondering how this pattern confirms the wave nature, then take a look at the patterns formed on the water when waves are continuously generated. In the case of light, this pattern creates bright bands for constructive interference and dark bands for destructive interference. At present, light has been confirmed as a wave. Let's do the same experiment but with one slit blocked. Well, the wave pattern is gone, the photons are just acting like particles. Here all the photons strike the screen in a random manner and image a bright spot of particles shot. Here we find that the single stream of photons is unable to interfere like the double slit. So what if we launch photons one by one into each slit with enough time that they cannot interfere with each other? Now, will the photons emerge on the screen as waves or particles? First a dot pattern begins to emerge and then after several photons are launched, a wave pattern begins to emerge on the screen. No interference is possible with a single slit. Are the photons split into two and then recombined to form an interference pattern as here? To know which photon goes into which slit, we add a detector. And here's where things start to get weird. Nothing changed, just added a detector that tells us which slit the photon entered from. And the wave pattern is gone. Here only particle pinpricks are visible. No matter how long you do this experiment. So we turn off the detector and repeat the experiment and nothing changes. Just the detector turns off and the wave pattern becomes visible. And we can say that we don't really know what's going on here. But there are some theories that will give your mind some relief. Quantum eraser experiment. Here the screen is placed closer than the detectors. This means that the resulting pattern will form here first and then the detector tells you which slit the photons pass through. What do you think? Now what will be the behavior of photons? Particles. They become particles. How? Do they go back in time to rewrite the result? So the summary is that whenever we try to detect the slit, the photons become particles. It doesn't matter whether you make observations in the future or in the present. Or there are some spiritual explanations that say photons are quantumly entangled with human consciousness.
Who would know? Well, if anyone knows, he will definitely get a Nobel Prize for it.